I want to share with you something that a mentor showed me that when she showed it to me, I could not unsee it. And it really changed my life. It was not a strategy of what I was doing. It was actually a pattern running underneath everything that I did. And once she showed it to me, once she named it for me, I started seeing how it was impacting everything and me everywhere in my life. How it was causing me to work so much harder, so much more exhausted, so much more effort in everything I was doing, in my relationships, in my business, in decisions I had been making for decades without realizing they all came from the very same place. Here's what she showed me, and why seeing it was one of the places that meant I finally understood why I was so exhausted all the time, why I was putting in so much effort and not seeing the results in my life. Do you know the duck and the lady image? I'll try to share it here. But the duck and the image, the duck and the lady image, where you are seeing one thing on the image and then other people are seeing something very different and you can't see that other image. So I remember for me, I first saw the lady and I couldn't see the duck for the longest time. I couldn't see that duck image until one time I actually saw the duck. I saw the lady, I saw the duck, I saw one thing until suddenly I could see the other. And I could never go back. I could never unsee the duck. I could never unsee that image. And as many times as I look at it now, I see both the lady and the duck. And that's what happens in coaching when a pattern, a thought process, an unconscious pattern becomes very visible. That's what happens. And I love it in coaching because I love the fact that both for me, when I see a pattern that I had never seen before and now I can never unsee it and my life transforms and changes forever. But I also love it when I do the same for my clients. When I show them a pattern that is in plain sight that they never questioned before, that was so unconscious, running everything in their life, and then they could never unsee it again and their life is transformed forever. That, my dears, is coaching. So for me, this time happened when I noticed, like when someone would get uncomfortable, or someone would be disappointed, or somebody would be having an emotion, or somebody would be having an issue, and I would jump in immediately to fix it. Happened in my career. An employee would be having a problem, leadership would be having a problem, customer would be having a problem. I would just jump in to fix it. I wasn't able to sit when they were uncomfortable. I wasn't able to sit still when somebody was having a problem. I made it my problem. I made it my responsibility. It was my job to fix it. And I prided myself in how good I was at fixing other people's problems. I would move in and make it better before it fully landed. I even predicted when things would become an issue. My analytical brain, my smart brain, I would see the end of the down the road and I would predict that that would happen and I would jump in to try to fix it. And I would actually people who would let me do it, they would love it when I would do it. People would let me fix their stuff, they would love it. People who didn't want me to fix it would resist me badly, or they would blame me, or because they didn't see the problem and where it was going because my brain was so smart, they would then resist it and blame me or call me something that wasn't. And I would have a lot like controlling, and I would have a lot of like dissonance and discomfort. Like I was either working so hard for some people who wanted me to fix it for them, fighting the people who didn't want me to fix it for them. It was a lot of emotional turmoil. And then I had a coach and a mentor who's a coach call it, label it for me, and mention it for me. And she called it emotional outsourcing, quote unquote, codependency pattern. And my brain was blown. I was really like, I never had heard it before. I never had seen it before. And then I noticed other people's discomforts became my emergency. Other people's issues became mine to fix. And I understood the root cause. I was blamed and punished when other people would do something bad. So to protect me from blame and punish and hurt, I created this strategy to support me so that I could prevent it from happening in the future. And so then it caused me a lot of pain, because to avoid that pain, I caused a lot of pain in my life. I caused me to overwork, overfunction, overfix, overperform in ways that I wasn't even aware of. And when my mentor gave it a label, described it for me, my life was changed, because the unconscious became conscious. Because once I saw it, I could never go back. And then I started seeing it in my business. For example, jumping in to support clients through emotions instead of sitting with them as they processed the emotion through, as they created a healthy relationship with that emotion. Fixing for my clients, telling my clients what to do, telling my clients the strategies that they needed to do, telling my clients the actions that they needed to do, instead of coaching them to find the root cause of the problem, instead of coaching them and creating the unconscious into conscious, moving quickly into resolution because before they finally fully process what is happening, moving quickly into this is what we're going to do, this is what needs to happen, this is the strategy, resolution, before they fully actually process what was happening. And I noticed the same pattern was showing up in my coaching. The same pattern was showing up in my business. The same pattern of solving people's problems in marketing before they even have hired me. Same pattern, different room. And it was all causing me a lot of exhaustion and causing me to work so much harder than I needed to. And so, what this solidified for me was the teaching: how you do one thing is how you do everything. How you do one thing in your relationship is how you're going to do it in your business. How you do one thing in your relationships is how you're going to do it in your health. How you do one thing in your relationship is how you're going to do it in your income, because it's your relationship with money. So, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Your relationships and the way that you manage and work through your relationships will show up everywhere. If you do not have the most efficient and supportive way that you handle your relationships, it's going to show up in your relationship with your business, your relationship with your clients, your relationship with your customers, your relationship with your coworkers. It's going to show up in your health, your relationship with your body, your relationship with the way you make decisions for yourself, the way you handle self-care. Like, for example, if you cannot sit with people's discomfort, your health is going to suffer, because you're going to not be comfortable taking time to maybe even go to the gym, or taking time to eat that healthy food for you, because you have to filter it. What's the best for everybody else? It's going to impact your income because of your relationship with money. It shows the way you treat money is the way you're going to treat other people, is the way you treat other people. It's going to show up in a relationship, whether you can earn what you say you want to earn, whether you can receive the way you want to receive. For example, I see my clients who will over deliver at their expense, which will reduce their income and their health and their happiness, because they were told that they cannot just receive because of who they are, that they cannot just be paid for who they are. So, how you do one thing is how you do everything, and it will show up everywhere, and it will cost you in every area. It will cost you in every arena. It will cost you with your income. It will cost you with your peace. It will cost you with your exhaustion, because when you're carrying weight that is not yours, when you have a responsibility or a job to manage things for other people, that's carrying the weight that's not yours, that's doing the work for other people that is not your work to be done. It's like doing the work that belongs to other people. Like, somebody else's work is so exhausting, because now you have to convince them, you have to persuade them, you have to fight with them if they don't want to do the work, if they're resistant to change. And so these relationships with all of this will cost you your peace, your income, your success. In business, it costs you your income, In business, it costs you your capacity to create what you want. It costs you your effort because you're putting effort in where it's never going to yield you a return. And so it costs you in so much. And that's why I teach that's why I am the life coach for business immigrant businesswomen, because there are things that we're doing in our lives that is costing us our income and our success in our business, that's robbing us of our joy and our satisfaction in our businesses. And so I slow it down and I show them how you do one thing is how you do everything and what the real cost is. And one of the things that I love about coaching and my coaching methodology is my clients will see it, will be coaching on this one area of life. And once we get to the root cause, once they see it and they can never unsee it again, they start unraveling a lot of things in other areas. A client will tell me that we never worked on my time management, but my time management is different. We worked on my relationship with this person, but then my client relationships got better. We worked on my relationship with this thing, but then I'm eating better over here. Or we worked on my relationship with this thing, but I'm showing up better in my business. We worked on my relationship with you name it, but then I'm leading better. I'm being a better boss, a better manager. I'm showing up differently. My marketing is getting clearer. We worked on this childhood pain, and now it's safe to be seen, heard, and understood. It's safe to show up as the asset. Because the gift is once you can see it, you can never unsee it. Once you evolve and bring the unconscious to the conscious and you become a different person, you can never change. You can, because it affects everywhere. Once you see the root cause, you do not have to fix it in every single arena of your life separately. It just comes into place so beautifully. And the strategies that you have had in place will now become so much crystal clearer. We want to clear the root cause, and every aspect of your life changes. That is what capacity clearing really is. That is what I have tried to articulate about capacity clearing, because your life gets so much more impactful, your business gets so much impactful, your capacity gets so much more crisper. And I love this. This is why I'm so passionate about coaching. So if the same exhaustion keeps showing up in different areas of your life, that's not something wrong with you. That's not something broken. It's just a pattern that you haven't yet found the root cause. And the root cause of that pattern is worth it for you and your future and your business and your income. It's worth finding it. And so I help my clients do that. If you'd like to identify some of the root causes of what's driving you overworking, take my quiz. The link is in my description. In 3 minutes, it'll identify some areas where you're unconsciously overworking. My name is Ruth Duren. I'm a certified life coach, master coach trained at MBA, and I'm the life coach for immigrant businesswomen because I help them identify what's causing that necessary exhaustion and what's causing them to work so much harder than they need to. If you love my support, I love to support you. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next week. Bye.